Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? It is Saturday, October 17th, and this is your live Q&A investor questions. I've been doing these every Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific for the last 10 weeks, 12 weeks. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? So I'm going to continue to do these going forward. This week, I actually didn't announce it. So we'll see what the turnout is. Again, I have some questions that I've picked up over the week from other comments that I will use to kind of buy us 10 minutes. But folks, do me a favor. This is for you. So if you have questions, go ahead and leave them there. I will look through the comments live and answer every question that is asked. So a couple of things as we get started. One of the things you could do for me if you're watching this and like what we're doing is hit the thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you like to get your daily information at 7:30, go ahead and hit subscribe. And of course, every Saturday we will do this live Q&A together. So the first thing I got from the week is a question really from likely a new investor, probably somebody who's interested in real estate, but yet hasn't done their first deal. I get a question like this at least weekly, many times, several times during the week. And really what the question boils down to is, or at least what I am starting to sense when I get questions like this is investors, maybe they read the book, right? Read our journey. Maybe they've seen one of the thousands of videos that are on this channel. They reach out almost desperate, kind of looking for the secret decoder ring, the easy button, hoping that there is something there for me to kind of point at so they can get after it, be successful, whatever it is. And if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, I don't think there is an easy button or a secret. I don't think there's a magic Excel spreadsheet, even though I tried to go that route in the beginning. I don't think there is any guru or out there that can really profess to have something that is like an easy button. But it's simple, if that makes sense. I believe real estate investing as a buy and hold landlord, somebody who works full time, somebody who has family responsibilities, someone who had to invest in a market they didn't live in. I think the answer boils down to focus and consistency. It is that simple. It is what I teach. It is what students are executing on. I did a video this week. I think it was 3. It might have been 4 students highlighting deals taken directly from our private Facebook group. It is that easy. It's focus and consistent effort. So what do I mean by focus? Well, first step in the course, and again, I'll give it away here, is you got to pick an asset type in a city/zip code where you can set up your search criteria so that it brings back somewhere between 20 and 40 active listings. And then from there, the work begins. And we go through it in detail in the course. And then consistency. This is the one that frustrates most people. It's frankly where most people fail. It is what I call work. And it is the one thing that, I don't know, just my natural who I am makes it easy. And maybe I didn't appreciate that in the beginning, is once I set my mind to something, I just continue at it and it becomes the number one thing. Think about this YouTube channel, for example. I was inspired by Gary Vee and Nipsey Hussle well over a year ago to see if we could do daily shows. So we did. I've done a daily show every day, whether I am in China. We did several shows whether I was in Taiwan, whether I was sick. There was a couple of videos I did, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, where I was sick, sounded terrible, but the show must go on. And now we're doing multiple videos a day. So it's the same thing. 20 years ago, I looked at my market twice a day. And the beauty of what I teach, talk about, and do is it's quick. I can look at my market now in less than 10 minutes. Back then it was 20 minutes. And back to what Gary Vee and Nipsey Hussle did for me is My videos are live, folks. I don't do any editing. Some of these YouTube entertainers with hundreds of thousands or millions of followers or subscribers, they probably spend more time editing their videos than I do in creating 3 or 4 days worth of material. Now, I take great care in what we put out. I have outlines, but they're live. Our daily shows are 8 to 12 minutes and I'm done. But I've read for 90 minutes. These live Q&A sessions, they're all live. My interviews are live and non-edited, but they're just done in Zoom and then posted. So again, just like this channel, just like when I learned my market, it's consistency, just every day like a hammer. And then speed, efficiency in what I do. So that's what I teach and talk about. And I guess I didn't appreciate in the beginning that that's kind of unique. It's just who I am. So that's kind of one. I don't think there's an easy button, but there is an easy way, if that makes sense. And that's focus and consistency. That's it for me. I do want to call out good karma. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know I've talked about karma before, usually on the bad side, whether you're a slumlord or maybe you're a tenant playing games. I've been very clear. I think there was a video I talked about being down 50 grand in rent. And I talked about one tenant in particular who is playing a game with me. And I'm like, okay, well, I believe in karma and bad karma will come back. But I also believe in good karma. I don't talk about it a lot, but I don't know what it is. In my 20 years of real estate investing, I don't know, 35 years in sales, good karma has come in interesting ways. And if you haven't seen that video yet that has a thumbnail called Good Karma, I think the title is How to Bring Joy. Go take a look. I think we could all use a little good karma as we end the year. And I did it earlier, but I'll just do it again. I want to thank 5 people who already took action. Ty, Colette, Len, Sam, and Dion. Thank you for watching that video and taking action. If you've seen it and already taken action, leave a comment so I can recognize you in a future video. I really do believe that this family, the One Rental at a Time group, is amazing, and we can do some amazing things together. So take a look if you haven't. And then lastly, something I'm really starting to appreciate as I watch this daily news is I believe we, Gen X and baby boomers, we need to respect and pay attention to what millennials are doing, right? I've heard many Gen X and baby boomers kind of almost belittle, talk down, and not appreciate the millennial generation, right? They're different. They don't want the same things we do, all of that, which was probably never okay to do, but now is a bad financial idea. The millennial generation has a significant portion in their 30s now, with more turning 30 all the time. Their incomes are increasing, and just like the baby boomers were 30 years ago, they are going to be the generation that moves markets. I believe the millennial generation will be the generation that forces retail to change, restaurants to change. Yes, this health crisis is forcing some of that earlier and faster. But as a Gen Xer, which is the group I fall into, I believe the millennials will have a far bigger impact. And because we're a real estate channel, I think just the simple fact that they are going to now start dominating entry-level homes in the suburbs is an investable and trend we must watch. And the reverse of that is, apartment living, lifestyle living. I think it's seen its peak, but these are all things I think we need to appreciate. I think if you are in the baby boomer generation or Gen X and you have historically just written off the millennial generation as different and odd, time to let that go. I believe they're going to start moving markets all by themselves. There are just so many of them, and they are going to increasingly age and control markets. So that's something that I'm certainly watching for. All right, so that's 3 things that I had going in. We're about 10 minutes into this live session. We are definitely down because I didn't announce this before. So thank you to all 13 people that are watching. Any of you have questions? I know some of you are my students, and you will also be on our 9 a.m. group, Facebook group. But if there are no questions, maybe this is just a short session and I need to do a better job of advertising these things. So maybe that's on me. Any questions? Anybody doing early voting? I think Olivia and I are voting today. So we will do all of that and get that out of the way. All right. Well, this is, I voted by mail already. Congratulations. All right, everybody. It looks like I failed to advertise this thing, so that's on me. Hi, Michael. Is your Facebook group mainly West Coast members? I don't know where people are located. I would guess most people are around, actually around the country. I don't think there is a biases. These are only my paying students in my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. Some of the students are actually in Europe, and I think one's in Asia. At least one's in Asia. So no, they're all over. I happen to be West Coast, so I realize that my 9 a.m. Pacific is good for me. It may not be good for others. I apologize, but the beauty is they're recorded. And if you're in the Facebook group, you now have hours of live sessions recorded. You can go back and watch. So I actually don't know if they're all West Coast members. Hi, Jerry. Why are you crying, Jerry? Jerry Davis, why are you crying? I think those are sad faces. Hi, Lewis. How are you? You got a question for me? People are joining. That's good. I will stay on as long as there's questions. So far, my failure to advertise this thing has meant a low turnout, but that is on me. Better Homes Rental. How do you think this business will change over the next 20 years? Oh, that's fun. That's fun. So let's be clear what we're thinking about this business. So we're going to talk about this business being single family rentals because you got to pick something. So Better Home Rental, I'm going to assume single family rentals is my answer. And if you want something different, leave a follow-up question below. God, that's a good question. I think there will be changes on the edges. There will be changes in how communications are done, how payments are done, how invoices and services are done. But let's think about rental homes, the single family home in 1900 versus, or maybe 1920 versus 2020. So 100 years difference. While the rents are different, the services are different, is essentially the same thing. Someone owns an asset. Their name is on the deed. They then list it for rent, usually monthly, probably in 1920s. It might have been weekly. And then rent is collected. There is a contract signed. So I don't think the basic building blocks of being a landlord change. You have an asset, you provide a service, that service has a fee, a contract is written, and kind of that moves forward. I do think apps, technology, streamline that. More and more mobile app pay. Probably in 20 years, you will probably see an expedited eviction process. It will probably just be cookie cutter by the local courts, right? Removing steps. There will be just easier ways to communicate, obviously. I think there will be more app-based ways to show properties, whether that be virtual or by having electronic keys. But again, when you think about the basic building blocks of being the landlord-tenant relationship, I don't know how that changes. I just don't know how that changes, right? You have something, they rent. It's be interesting to see what you think there, and see if I was off or not off. Larry, thank you. The videos this week have been really good. I appreciate that. I try every week. That's awesome. Jerry, no question. 1 hour drive and was looking forward to it today. Well, let's see. Questions are coming in, so we will see if we can keep going for the hour. So I appreciate you I appreciate you listening while driving. Be safe. Don't take your eyes off the road. I'm assuming you're driving. I guess you could be in the passenger seat. Lewis, 90K duplex, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Okay, 2,600 square feet. Both units go for 1,100. Somebody beat me to the deal. Was a little angry, but more deals in the future. So, Lewis, congratulations. You are doing the work. It seems like, right? Learning your market. You identified a listing and found a good deal, that maybe even a great deal. Again, what I teach in the course and talk about all the time is you have to build a foundation of learning your market. And once you do that, good or great deals literally jump off the page. Jump off the page. Where if you don't do the work, folks, that is the course in a nutshell. It's do these daily activities 20 minutes a day, do them long enough, and good or great deals will jump off the page. And then lastly, Lewis, absolutely right. There's always another deal. It's probably I don't know. I'll call it a good feeling, right? It's good. You should be upset. You found a great deal and missed. But I want you to take that as a sign of goodness and just keep going, because I promise you there will be another one. There's another one. Is there a negative side to deeding an investment to an LLC? Where I think what you're doing there is you're buying it in your name, hence the loan is in your name, and then you're moving it to an LLC afterwards where the loan stays in your name. I think that's what you're doing, Tamika. In theory, that is something where the loans could be called. I'm not aware of anything happening there. Oh, no loan. Oh, so you own it free and clear. Is there a downside? I guess the only downside probably, again, you bought it, you own it free and clear. Deeding it to an LLC is, if you ever want to get a loan on it, like if your intention is 90 days, 6 months, a year to get a loan, it probably will be tough because your LLC probably won't have multiple years of tax returns, it sounds like. No, I mean, there's obviously all the intricacies of managing an LLC. So, that takes on a level of activities that some people don't appreciate. But I can't think of a downside other than it might make a future refi or equity extraction harder. Yeah, I can't think of one. Jerry, how do you keep from overdoing a rehab for the market you're doing? I made a comment about your top mount sink on your flip. I'm from Kia and now in VA. Oh, Jerry, I remember that comment. Yeah, I have definitely done undermount sinks. Typically, that is in the higher end. There's only a couple of variations in my flips or my rentals. So let's be clear, probably 80% of my rentals are all the same. And you guys can go back and look. I have a playlist called walkthroughs. My floors are all the same. Ceiling fans are all the same. Light switches are all the same. Tile is all the same. Backsplashes can vary a little bit. All of them get granite. We will do undermount sinks in nicer areas. Think above 200 grand. Below 200 grand, it's slightly cheaper. It doesn't really buy anything in rent. Two-tone paint. The only thing that really varies is the kitchen layout, because kitchens are just organized differently. When in doubt, we will add extra cabinets in above 200K that we may not in a sub 200K. Like below 200K, we won't add the extra cabinets even if there's a wall there. We'll just make it a nook or maybe add shelves. Probably add shelves. But above 200K, we will add extra cabinets. We will do nicer things in above 200K, like accent the shampoo cutout in the baths. You've seen that a couple of times in our flips. Slightly better sinks and cabinets in the bathrooms. But in the end, the beauty is most of what we do is the same, Jerry. And that allows us to buy stuff in bulk and just store it. Like we haven't had to buy new, like we don't change our paint color. So there's paint left from job after job after job, and we just keep going. And it also makes touch up a lot easier, which is a nice thing. Because we do the same stuff in the stuff we keep versus the stuff we sell. That's another thing that maybe folks don't know. Like I did a walkthrough video yesterday. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like Slumlord Update or something. And that's a property we're keeping. So as you see that rehab, it will look very similar to all the other rehabs. So again, I don't differentiate. The key, Jerry, for me is just to get your punch list down and execute it over, and it becomes boring. But for me, boring is good. Back to the very opening statement, I'm a hammer, and it doesn't bother me that it's the same. Yeah, so that's what I do. Lewis, plus same family owned by generation since 1910. Wow. They've owned that, was a duplex, I think. They've owned that duplex for 110 years. And now this generation is selling it. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can own real estate for generations. It'll be interesting to see what happens to our real estate when I die, if Teresa keeps them or sells them all. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Hey, Gabe, good morning. Is there any particular tenant payment website or mode of payment you would recommend? For example, Cozy or other type? I'm still accepting checks for now. Gabe, I leverage a property manager, and I don't frankly worry about that stuff. I pay them a fee every month, and they can choose to use whatever they want. I can ask them what they use. They've started taking payments via app or electronically. But again, I don't get in their business. I don't know. It's all the same to me. So I have no experience with that. I'm sorry, Gabe. Yep. Closing in a few days. Congratulations, Tamika. Make sure in our private group you list your deal once it's done, and then we can all celebrate you. Celine, hi, Michael. My mom owns 3 residential properties in Asia. SHD. Sorry, I don't know what SHD is, but congratulations. Wonder where in Asia. I'm assuming they're houses, but maybe they're condos or something. But Celine, congratulations. And forgive me, I'm old and I don't know what SHD means. Sorry. Yes, based on price target. For me, in my market, Jerry, back to your earlier question, 200K is in my market. Like you could think below 200K is total entry level. It's like first time buyer, blue collar neighborhood, frankly, where I grew up. 200K and above, that's like entry level white collar, if that makes sense, in my market. So you have to learn your market. So I do slightly nicer things. And let's be clear, slightly means maybe $1,000 or $1,500 in extras in a nicer area. But they get the same floor, they get the same paint, all that stuff. So for me, it's blue collar, a blue collar remodel, apples to apples, same house, different plot of dirt. The delta would only be about 1,000, maybe $1,500. Hi, Celine. So back to your question. I think you told me, yeah, she owns 3 resident. Oh, she owns 3 resident. So she's not a landlord. If I'm putting your 2 questions together. So Celine, I don't know what your mom did. Maybe family lives there. Maybe they're vacant. I don't know if they are vacant, but I wouldn't assume they're vacant. I don't know all the rules and regulations in Asia. Asia is a big geography. But yeah, I would think rental properties would help with cash flow. Yeah, I would think. But again, yeah, there's a lot in that question. But yeah, I think so. She owns 3 houses or 3 properties. I got to be careful in Vietnam. It looks like. Yeah, I would assume there's a ready market for rentals in Vietnam. I would absolutely assume that. I don't know anything about the eviction laws or any of that stuff in Vietnam, but I have to assume that lots of people rent in Vietnam, I would assume. So I would think it would be a good thing. But again, hey, your mom seems to be doing okay. She's got 3 properties. So congratulations for her. Good for her. And very, You should be proud of her. Okay, Gabe's using Rent Ready. Okay, cool. Vietnam, definitely will update you in the group. Awesome. Can't wait. Oh, Airbnb. Oh, see, now I'm learning more and more and more. Celine, I don't know the Airbnb rules in Vietnam. Some countries like them, some countries don't. Airbnb brings a level of unit turn and customer service that I don't have in my model. I'm one rental at a time. My leases are yearly and then roll month to month. I have zero personal experience with Airbnb. I've interviewed people that run Airbnb on my channel, but I do not have any Airbnb, so can't speak to that. I don't do that because I don't want daily turns. I don't want all the customer service. I don't want to furnish my properties. So there's lots of reasons why I don't do it. But in reality, Celine, lots of people make Airbnbs very profitable. You do got to check your city and country to make sure they're cool with it, because some cities and countries are clamping down. But yeah, I think, again, I don't have any data than she's got 3 properties in Vietnam and thinking Airbnb, but if I would assume that managing Airbnb units, they got to be close. So I don't know where these 3 houses are in relations to your mom, but if they're close enough, like walking distance, where she can manage and turn and have good customer service, I would assume it's a good idea. But again, not an Airbnb expert. These are just opinions from someone maybe you shouldn't listen to, because I don't have any Airbnbs. So how's that for blunt honesty? Hey, Timmy. Hey, Michael. Figuring out my investment plan. Was originally thinking about investing in multifamily, but really thinking using my cash for flips is a better usage of my money. Your take? Timmy, so don't know what markets you're talking about. Don't know your pile of cash you're starting with. If you've watched my channel at all, Timmy, you will know that I personally believe Class A multifamily, bigger is better idea, is very risky today. I think there's a YouTube entertainer and social media expert who has made bigger is better his mantra. And I think that's about to bite a lot of people in the ass. I do think we are in a very unique time. This is not probably. This is the best time I have ever seen to buy a junker, remodel it to FHA quality, and sell. I can't imagine this time lasting more than 18 months, but boy, I just did one of these to test it out. So I flipped 53 properties in 2.5 years. 52 of them were buy junk, fix up, rent, sell to landlord. It worked great. I was starting to think, because I can't buy anything, that what would happen if I sold to FHA buyers. So the last one I did, bought it, fixed it, sold vacant. I made $21,000 extra. The difference between what an investor like we talk about and I teach and what an FHA buyer can pay, in my case, was 10%, a little bit over 10%. I could have sold it to an investor for 180, rented. Owner occupant paid 201. So I don't expect that spread, which is over 10%, to last a long time, but I think it lasts another year. I think it lasts another 18 months. So I will be flipping to FHA buyers if I can find anything to buy. There's nothing to buy today, but that's what I'm doing, if that helps. I'm in Arizona right now, kind of leaning away from multifamily because it's hard to liquidate, and the housing market is, Arizona is insane. I am a real estate agent in Arizona. Buyers can't get their offers accepted, even 5, 10. Yeah, Timmy, this won't last forever. I've been doing this 20 years, and I'm going to keep saying it till it's not true. The market we're in today, Very different than '06. A lot of people want to compare this to '06. It's not. I have never seen a market dominated by owner occupants like this. If the property is clean, they're going to just outbid investors by 20 grand, like in my example. So it's very odd. It eventually could become its own bubble if FHA dominant, if the lending market becomes all FHA, which is a risk I've talked about. But yeah, it's going to run another year. That's what I think. Hi, Michael. When you see people returning to big cities, and how will a working vaccine accelerate that, in your opinion? It's going to be interesting. This work from home thing, I think it has more stickiness than maybe a lot of folks think. I think a lot of companies are proving they're more efficient, their cost structure is better, and frankly, the employees have a much better living standard if they can live somewhere else. So I think again, I'm being very specific, like again, San Francisco, New York, the most obvious choices. I do not think San Francisco and New York see their 2019 peaks for a decade. I think it's a decade. Other cities will not quite be a decade. It'll be 6, 8, 4 years. But to use the extremes of New York and San Francisco, which were grossly overpriced and unaffordable, they've got a decade of pain ahead. So it'll be interesting. I happen to live in the Bay Area, so it will be interesting if the Silicon Valley is the Silicon Valley in 2 years, or have we adopted a kind of hub and spoke model where there's lots of little hubs, right? We just had Dropbox talk about this week where they're basically shutting down their headquarters and they're going to just be lots of little hubs. I think that's a trend we got to pay attention to. I think the Silicon Valley fails to attract the next generation, at least in the same numbers, and that's bad. I actually don't think it's about the vaccine. I think certainly vaccine will help. I think what the vaccine helps is the service sector. We are in a K-shaped recovery, and I don't think the top of the K really is impacted all that much by a vaccine. Maybe they're a little more confident. Maybe they go out. But the service sector, restaurants, theaters, retail, they need a vaccine. They need talk of a vaccine because right now, the top of the K is not leveraging services. I'm not going to the movies, and I used to go to the movies all the time. We used to eat out 5 days a week. We're not eating out. So that just impacts a lot of people. So I think the vaccine helps the service sector, which is a critical part of our economy. But I don't think it really impacts the big cities, is how I read your question. Celine, my younger sister will be in college next year. Okay, it is a good idea to buy a rental property for her college fund. How do I approach her about the real estate investing knowledge? So Celine, I assume you're talking about your mom in that reference to her instead of your sister. And then again, I don't know how you have a college fund if she's in college next year. When I think college fund, it's, hey, my child's 5 years old and I want to do this. Maybe what you're talking about is, I don't know. Here's an idea, Celine, that your mom might want to think about. I don't know any colleges in Vietnam, so I'll just call it the College of Vietnam. So your sister's going to go to college in Vietnam. What your mom could do is she could buy a property near the College of Vietnam that has 4 bedrooms. What she could do, instead of Airbnb, like you asked earlier, what you could do is your mom could rent the other 3 rooms to other students of College of Vietnam. That way your sister lives in maybe the master bedroom or the big room. I don't know if master bedroom plays in Vietnam, the big room. And then 3 other students are in the other bedrooms. That way your sister essentially can live rent-free and your mom gets appreciation. I don't know. That's probably something I would look at. So again, forgive me, I don't know any colleges in Vietnam, so I couldn't be specific, but that might be something you could talk about because your mom probably has to pay for a dorm or someplace for your sister to live. So that might be something to talk about. Might be a way to make a little bit of money and help your sister and your mom out. That might be cool. Thanks, Michael. Would love to get on a Zoom call and make a video together about beginning investing in hot market Phoenix. It's weird market that we're in. Sure. Timmy, reach out after this is over. We can set that up. Sure. No problem. I do those all the time. So reach out after this is done so we could connect. Tamika, working on my thank you notes. Looking forward to the next acquisition. You were right. The first deal is the hardest. Once a new investor secure. Oh yeah, Tamika, you still got to get over the finish line. So you're doing the right thing. But once you're there, you're gonna be like, darn, that wasn't that hard. I so look forward to you celebrating that first deal. Remember to celebrate the small victories, and your first deal is not a small victory. That's a big deal. So I look forward to congratulating you once you're over the finish line. Did I miss any questions above? No, I think I got them all. All right, everyone. Looks like all the questions are done. I apologize. This is not the full hour. It was my failure not to communicate. But hey, we got 35 minutes of questions. Do me a favor, if you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe. I do have every intention of doing one of these at 8 a.m. Saturday going forward. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and that would be great. So Timmy, my email is m. Actually, you know what? You can just go to my Instagram page. It's probably easiest. Instagram is one rental at a time, and just DM me there. Does that make sense, Timmy? So again, go to my Instagram page and send me a DM with your email, and we can do it that way. Otherwise, you can leave a comment with your email later, and I'll reach out to you. Okay, cool. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. If you're one of my students, we will do this again in 22 minutes, but it will be in our Facebook group. Take care.